Hello everyone, this is Frank and I'm doing a frequently asked questions video. Oh my god, that word was hard to get out, wasn't it? Now, yeah, frequently asked questions. I'm going to deliver some answers to that because there's some questions that just seem to show up all the time on the channel, on the servers, and in live streams and such. And I thought it would just be nice to do a video just properly explaining all of those questions because or properly explaining the answers I guess because usually I don't have a lot of time or a lot of room to explain them, so I just and maybe there's some other people that actually want this the same thing, so yeah, I just wanted to do a video about this. Now this is maybe obviously to you already. It is a voiceover of some gaming. It doesn't really have anything to do with what I'm currently talking about, but I just wanted to add some video to the talking. I could of course have done a face cam of it, but I do so much hate the bad quality of my webcam, and it kind of just like filled with anxiety whenever I upload something with a face cam because of the horrible quality. It's just so yes, I really do prefer this quite a lot. So yes, the first question, and probably the one that is asked the most is, why do you have a guy's name as a nickname? Because frankincense is a guy's name, right? That is actually wrong. It is not a guy's name. I'm guessing when people say this that they're thinking about the short version of it, that people usually call me Frank. But frankincense is not in any kind of way a male's name, quite opposite actually. Now, most of you actually know what it is. You will probably think of it as a plant or an incense, which is completely correct. It is indeed. But it is not only that. It is also a name of a goddess of art, and loads of really cool stuff like that. And I got this nickname, I think, in May 2006. I was tired of my old internet nickname that I've had since the age of 14. And I decided it was time to get a new one. And I kind of thought about the names I thought sounded cool and nice and everything. And this might sound a bit silly, but I am kind of an old Final Fantasy VII nerd. I used to write loads of fanfics and do loads of fandom. The days of fandom. Those were nice days. So long ago now. So yeah, I kind of thought about the name Sephiroth, which I think sounds nice, but obviously I was not going to name myself that because that would be but I wanted to find out, where does this name actually come from? And I did find out. I did a bit of research and I found out that it actually came from a religion. I'm not going to say which religion and what part of that religion, because religion can always be sensitive. You can check it out yourself, of course, if you're really interested. But since my use of the name has no religious tie at all, it doesn't actually have anything to do with my choice of the name. And it just, it was a name of a goddess of art and maybe beauty as well, I don't know, but art was mainly the thing that that I liked about it, and I thought of frankincense. Well, that sounds really nice. I like that. Yeah, I'll go for that. So that is really the story behind the name. There was no thought about it being a male name or anything. It was just a thought about it being actually a kick-ass female name. I didn't at the moment actually know that it was also a plant and an incense. When I found that out, I decided that I wanted to check out how it smelled, and I was delightfully surprised at how much I liked it, because it's really fresh and it's really nice. So that was just a plus, because I'm kind of obsessed with smells. So yeah, of course the short version of it is, usually a male's name, I presume, in most countries. But actually not very much for me either. I have two female friends, or maybe more like acquaintances actually, like friends of friends and friends that we do sometimes hang out in the same group of people. They're both named Francesca, thank you. And one of them we call Frankie, and the other one we call Frank. There's no reason as to why we call one of them Frankie and the other one Frank. That's just the way it is. I think they've known each other for really long, and that's just the way it becomes through the years. So for me, the name Frank is actually quite a neutral name, just like the name Kim, which is a neutral name as well. So yeah, it is not a guy's name. It is, for me at least, a girl's name. Now, the second most common question is, aren't you German? I thought you were German because you sound German. And no, I'm not German, I'm Swedish. Which a lot of people do find out pretty quickly. But then people explain it like they think that German accents and Swedish accents, they kind of sound the same. I actually do not agree with this at all. I don't think they sound the same in any way. Well, of course I am Swedish, so that would partly explain it all. But I just want to talk a bit about the differences. First of all, I think German accent sounds nicer than the Swedish ones. I'm going to admit that. I really do. I think that German accents are in general way clearer than Swedish accents are. And that us Swedes, we kind of speak in a bit more muddled way. It's not... Well, yeah, you know, a bit like, you know, the Swedish chef in the Muppets. It's not far from reality, I would say. And there's a few reasons for this, actually. Now, first of all, is that sound. We don't have it in Swedish. If you've ever listened to a Swedish person that says three, yeah. It's not nice. It's not nice to say. We don't have that word in Swedish. I mean, the way the Swedish sounds, like I'm just going to say a random sentence now in Swedish. Hallå, jag heter Frank. Mår du bra? Jag hoppas du mår bra. Jag mår jättebra. As you can hear, we kind of don't have a lot of sounds. So we do have some of them, of course we do. I mean, of course we got that letter, but we don't really have the sounds, and they are actually quite hard for the majority of us to do. And if we do it, we kind of start spitting everywhere because we're not used to making that sound. However, they do have it in German, so they don't have the same problem when it comes to pronouncing those words. But Swedes really do. And actually, Swedish is a kind of dry language, and now I'm talking about dry in the sense that you don't produce a lot of saliva when you speak Swedish because we don't really have any and this sound does on the tongue, it does produce a bit of saliva. So one problem that most Swedes have is that they kind of start out and then drooling everywhere when they're speaking, which does make which does make the speaking a lot more muddled. And this problem, well, German people don't have it. So, yeah, and I hate this thing about Swedish accents, because it's so, I always think about it in my own recordings, and, well, obviously I'm going to think about it in other Swedish recordings as well, because I just think about the huge amount of saliva you're spurting everywhere. Okay, I'm going to end that part of it now, because it's getting a bit too disgusting, I feel. The second reason why I don't think that German and Swedish accents are very similar is probably the way that we speak a bit in melodies like this. Maybe you have been thinking about this sometime. Again, with the kind of like Swedish chef thing. Yeah, we go up and down a lot. It's kind of like we're all in Sweden. We are all just like in this time before hitting puberty. And we do speak quite a lot in that way. Yeah. And Germans kind of don't. All German people seem to, in general, have hit puberty. Hooray for them! I hope we will do one day too. This third reason, and yeah, you're going to think about this as soon as I mention it, if you follow any Swedish caster at all. The swearing. Swedes do tend to swear quite a lot. And not just quite a lot, it's like every sentence on every other sentence. And this is a typical mark of a Swedish person that has kind of spoken English for a while, but not like super long. A lot of people do realize after a while that, okay, so I kind of sound a bit horrible to other people because other people do not swear like this. But we do this in Sweden. We swear a lot. the thing is that our swear words, they're not as strong as they're not very strong. It's just like regular words that we use to make something a bit stronger. Or yeah, okay, I'm probably going to do a few examples to kind of explain what I'm talking about here. Like the word fuck, that you probably heard a lot of Swedes use like all the time. We don't have a swear word like that in Sweden. If you would say the Swedish version of that, people would just be like, what? And they'd stare at you, and then they'd probably start laughing because it would be so weird. It's like the people that uses this word in kind of a weird fashion, I mean, that's kids who just found out what the words are, and they're like, knulla. So no. And tourists sometimes, and people from other countries where they kind of do use the word fuck as an insult, and they kind of translate it into Swedish, but it's still like, what? Really? Oh my god. No, the swear words that we use are actually, it's mainly fan, helvete, piss, skit, jävlar, and they're all well, skit is shit, jävlar is the devil, fan is also the devil, helvete is hell, and satan, well, you can probably have a guess at what that means. And you know, they're kind of mild, they're really mild, and that is why we use them so much. It's not, we don't use them because we want to insult someone or because we're angry. We just use them in our language quite a lot. Like, let's say that you just ate something that was really good. I mean, I might be saying, jävlar vad gott det här var alltså. Jävlar vad gott det var. Now that would be the devil, this is good. This is really good. The devil. That would probably sound a bit silly to you, I'm guessing. So a Swede that has started to speak English and just doing their own thing, they might be just saying, fuck, this taste is good. Yeah, fuck, it really does. And they don't actually mean anything vulgar with it, but it sounds really vulgar because obviously, yeah. And German people don't do this. German people seem to be way more well-behaved. But we're like, you know, yeah, this is how we speak in Sweden. Yeah. Obviously not everyone in Sweden. I mean, there's always going to be people that find that kind of language to be rude and not fitting in some situations. But in general, yes, we do swear kind of a lot. But no, they don't mean the same way, the same things. They don't actually, like, if you're watching like a Swedish LP and they say fuck a lot, they don't actually mean fuck. They mean something entirely else that is just super mild. And yeah, that's something that Germans do not do. So that is also another way of knowing if you're talking to a Swedish person or a German person. A German person would probably have a way more well-behaved language, whereas the Swedish person will probably say fuck all the time. That's a very good tip. Kind of funny one too, I guess. Now the third one, I guess it's not really a question, but it's more of an apology. But since so many people apologize to me for this, I kind of thought that it could be important for me to tell you guys that it's really not a problem. Like, a lot of the time, people say things like, no offense, I really don't mean anything bad by it, but I thought that you were a guy at first. And you know, guys, that's not a problem. I honestly do not mind at all. If I play on a server and you thought that I was a guy at first, I mean, why would that be an issue? I go on servers to play the game, not to be a girl. Do you understand me? You don't go on service to be a man either. You go on service to play. So it really doesn't matter. I mean, someone could presume that I'm a man or a woman or a squid or a sheep. You know, I don't care. It doesn't matter. You know, as long as you will play the game with me in a respectful way and have fun, I'm happy. I don't give. I'm not going to swear. I'm not going to be that Swedish. Now the last question that is kind of asked a lot is if people can find my work anywhere. any workers like this. You work as a writer, right? Is there anything I could have seen that you've published, or can I find any of it? I want to just do a bit of a correction here. I do not work as a writer, I work as a journalist. And sure, you can find my columns online and my articles and radio spots and TV spots and such like that, but they're all in Swedish. And I really can't recommend that you check those out unless you speak Swedish, because Google Translate, I mean, it's sometimes to people, I mean, if you use it on a language that you don't understand, it might seem to you that translation is fine, but you know it's not. It really isn't. Like when I've tried Google Translate in my articles, it's horrible. I mean really a lot of the time, like the result can be that it looks like I mean the complete opposite of what I actually mean, because Google Translate kind of doesn't work for those kinds of translations. So yes, you can check them out. You just Google my real name, really, which you can find in the channel description, and you will find loads. But I really can't recommend trying to. I really can't recommend trying to read them. I am happy that you want to, because it's super flattering. But there's a big risk that you would just consider me to be an idiot, because nothing will make sense, and you might actually think that I think a lot of things that are completely warped just because Google Translate just translates it in such a weird way. So, in all honesty, I think I'd kind of rather wish that you didn't. But I'm super flattered if you ever wanted to, and I'm always super flattered when people ask this. It's really nice. It's super nice. So, yeah, I think those were the most common ones. I can't at least remember any more at the moment. I might do one of these things later too, because you know I kind of think it's fun to do too as well. I probably think it's way more fun to do them to, I don't know, for anyone else to actually listen to them. To be quite honest, because you know I can talk about myself. Yeah, it's like you know these lists that people kind of fill in on communities and on their blogs. It's huge list with you know questions, like 30 questions, and they always begin with like, "What's the color of your toothbrush?" And they're super boring, but everyone loves them, and they just send them around, and everyone gives these long or short answers, and they think it's super fun, but no one actually reads them. I guess this might be kind of like that. So yeah, I hope I didn't torture anyone, because if I did, I am very sorry. But you know guys, thank you for listening. This is Frank. Have a good day. Bye.